So guys, P2B and other Nigerians have come out to call out Tinubu government over their failed governance in Nigeria ever since they resumed office. Someone said that Nigerians can testify that only thing Tinubu government has been able to deliver is hunger, poverty and insecurity. This coming from Tambuwa. And also somebody else said that if Asiwaju were not what he is with stupendous amount of money to bribe everyone in the courts, he will not be contesting election because his name, age, health, etc. about Tinubu is based on lies. Then Danko said that Professor Jawush Amopaton must go. We don't believe in him anymore. Now, take a look at what P2B said. He said that, I can tell you, nobody will build or do what I intend to do in the north. I will change the north. Our greatest asset of the century is in the north, P2B says in an interview. Also, P2B commented and said that when Buhari came in, our borrowing was about 13 trillion naira. When he left, it was 87 trillion. Today, we are hitting 200 trillion naira without anything to show for it. Subsidy has been removed in petroleum and power, and yet we have borrowed more. Our budgets are not financed in the entire 2025 budget for capital project contractors are being owed. P2B on Arise News. So guys, I like guys to watch that video, but you all know what people are talking about, that this government have failed Nigeria because there is nothing in Nigeria today that is working. There's no light, no security, no good road, nothing. Even network is bad in Nigeria. There's nothing that we can hold and say that, okay, this government are doing well. This is why P2B and all that have come out to call out the Tinubu government. Meanwhile, guys, watch those videos. If you're new here, please subscribe. I will see you guys in many videos. Just take a look.
Well, forget it. What is your reaction to
Well, my reaction is that I work with them so they can do that. But I can tell you, Charles, you can take it in this studio. Nobody will build or do what I intend to do in the north. I'll change the north. Our greatest asset is in the north.
Tell us more.
Our greatest asset as a country is in the north. The vast uncultivated land is our future. We can make more money as a country from agriculture than we make from oil. And that we have to start doing immediately. If we want to secure the north today, we need to start investing in those critical areas, agriculture, start pulling people out of poverty, investing in education, investing in health. And that we can do. I've seen it country after country that I've been able to study. Just I have taken time, if I can say it, more than any other person contesting, to visit different countries to see firsthand what they're doing. And I could see it in the north. I could see that future. I could feel it.
Yeah. But obviously,
if any contractor will say here, Charles, me and him have sat down the way I sat with you, and I told him, put this for me, I will stop politics today.
right. Well, we're running out of time. This has been a fascinating discussion with you. You have spoken consistently about prudence, about reform, but Nigerians are facing deep economic hardship and punishing insecurity at the moment. What are the first 3 decisions you would take in office that would immediately change the trajectory of the economy and of insecurity in this country?
Well, the secretary has spoken a lot. I won't tell you everything here, but I'll be decisive. And people will see, they'll feel it. And I'm not going to lead from the back. I'll be in the front. And everybody will see, because if you cannot secure your country, you have nothing to offer. On the economy, we'll deal with it head on. We'll deal with this issue of corruption and waste. There's too much waste here. We'll deal with it. We will begin to ensure that whatever we're doing will be transparent. Nigerians will see it. Charles, this government came in, removed subsidy. Said because they don't want to, they were borrowing to service it. Removed subsidy in petroleum, subsidy in electricity, and that the resources they will save will be used in development. And they turned around, Charles, and borrowed more money. When Buhari came in, our borrowing was 13 trillion, about 13 trillion. When he left, it was 87 trillion. Today, Charles, we are hitting 200 trillion without anything to show for it. Subsidies removed, both in petroleum and power, and yet we've borrowed more. Our budgets are not financed. Because the entire 2025 budget, capital project, the contractors are being owed. So we're owing contractors. We borrowed more money. Where is the money going? What happened? The people need to know. I'll be open to them. I will insist that all borrowing will be used for investment. If they had borrowed to do something, at least the government promised one thing: power. If I don't give you power, don't vote for me. If they had borrowed all this money and put it in power, we'll say okay. But I can tell you, from 2015 to date, no plant, no new plant have been commissioned and in process of being commissioned by the APC government. And it won't happen soon because it takes a long time to build. Countries like Indonesia, between 2015 and 2025, added 70,000 megawatts. And they are now doing 2025 to 2034, 69 megawatts. India added within the same period 171,000 megawatts to bring their total installed capacity, and this is now to 500,000. Egypt, within 2015 and 2021, added 28,000. How many have we added since 2015? Charles, we have a problem.
When you have the INEC chairman that's supposed to be neutral in his decision making, and he refused to do that, the only thing that you are sure of, that you are not sure that the election will be free and fair. And so it will be onerous to the person in question to quickly resign his position, so that an independent person will be appointed according to Justice Mohammed Uwais' report, which says that the position should be publicly announced, and then 3 persons should be selected, and the Judicial Council of Judiciary will be able to give and select 1 person independently. Because the handle of the INEC chairman has clearly stipulated that he is actually partisan. And with all due respect, what has happened to the ADC justified that. This particular INEC and the previous INEC has put his hand in the Labour Party and destroyed it. Has also put his hand in the PDP, it has also destroyed it. It has also put his hand in other political parties, including now the latest one, which is the ADC. And this trend will continue, not only for anything, but to justify the fact that Mr. Peter Obi, as far as I am concerned, does not have the ticket to run for election. This is just the crux of the matter. So, in fact, what we are seeing as regard to what he has tweeted in his handle shows that he is partisan, and we need an INEC that is not partisan.
Professor, can Nigeria cross any election that happens? How much return will conduct, whether the allegation are true or not?
With all due respect, Nigerians won't trust it, because there is no any showing that indicates that this electoral umpire called INEC under his leadership will give us the desired result of credible, free and fair election. I am not convinced, and I know millions of Nigerians are not convinced.
Okay, sir. From the area council election experience, is the party mobilized enough to make an impact at the 2037 election?
Mobilization, yes, because I can attest to the fact that every local government and every ward of the FCT was clearly mobilized. I give you an example. 1,401 polling unit in the FCT in Amak in particular was also mobilized accordingly to ensure that everybody is there. But when the result will come out, you will find out that the result was being manipulated still under the leadership of this President INEC chairman. So that's to show you clearly that there won't be any credible election in Nigeria. And so we are calling seriously, Nigerians should call for his resignation and at the same time also mobilize to ensure that the right person will be put in place to run election in Amak.
Yes, sir. What are the latest updates on the ADC congresses? And what is the party doing to resolve that?
Well, as regard to the issue of legal issue, it is already the domain in the courts. So we'll allow the court to adjudicate on those matters. But what we will continue to advance is that to insist that election is done free and fair for the benefit of the Nigerian people.
If Asuwaju were not what he is, with stupendous amount of money to bribe everyone from the courts and everything, he will not be contesting elections. Because from his name to his school to his health, everything about him is based on lies, and nobody wants to prove that. Nobody wants to prove that because everyone is bribed to say what they want to say. However, Nigerians can see. They see him every day. The last clip I saw of him is calling Atiku the governor of Anambra State. For God's sake, what else do we need? We don't need a doctor to tell us that. We don't need a doctor when somebody is blah blah blahing. We don't need a doctor to say it. Look, people must understand that ill health, dementia, is a natural process of human being. It's nature. It's not as if it's his fault, but it's also not our fault. So we don't have to accept somebody that cannot decipher. That is the truth. You understand? So I am still insisting. And at what point did I resign? I told you from the beginning that I didn't want the appointment. He, Asuwaju, begged me. He begged me. He said, in the name of Allah. This was what he said. Let him deny it. I didn't want the appointment. I didn't want to be part of it. Look, I'm a businesswoman. I'm not a politician that makes money out of politics. Go and look at my history. If I want to make money out of this blood money, I would have made it long ago, but I don't want it. And he must, Asuwaju, okay, why is he not going into debates? Why is he not allowed to talk even in rallies? You know what they do in rallies now? What they do is say, let's dance. They start dancing. It's an insult to Nigerians. Even if it are lies, please lie to us. Lie to us about what you want to do. Why is he running away from debates? He's running away from everything. He went to Chatham House. He was asking others to answer questions for him. And Nigerians accept this. Why was he saying that? If he could answer, if he could think, if he can decipher, why is he allocating questions to other people? Are they the ones that Nigerians are going to vote for? I stand my ground. Yeah.
The government doesn't want other parties to exist. They're not playing by the rules.
But what are the reasons those venues are giving you?
I don't know, just like you.
Right.
I don't know, but I believe that unless the party in power decides to support our institutions, to be able to play their parts, we'll be having such problems.
The ADC also has its, by coincidence, its Supreme Court case on Tuesday over the issue of the leadership of David Mark. What's the central argument there? Is it that issues to do with internal party politics should not be heard in the courts, even though the Court of Appeal ruled otherwise? Is the ADC essentially seeking an interpretation from the Supreme Court?
There have been decided cases clearly that says that INEC, as called a referee or regulatory body, that nobody should interfere in the internal affairs of political parties. In so many decided cases, which ordinarily would have been enough, but because the present government is bent on destructing the entire system, that's why we're going round and round.
And of course, in addition to that, I understand that the Federal High Court will also be in session over the same case. I mean, that sounds like a quite extraordinary judicial model.
You can see where they've reduced our judiciary to. It's then become part of the mess they are creating.
But is it likely, because I've heard it sort of in the grapevine, is it likely that the Federal High Court will yield its case in deference to the Supreme Court? I mean, how do you
I don't know
the runes?
I don't, Charles, maybe you have better news than I have. I don't get involved with that because I believe it is wrong. Charles, government in office should ensure, protect opposition. In fact, they should make opposition stronger, make it work. I've been in party disputes in the past under President Yaradua, and I've said it repeatedly. I recall him calling the then INEC chairman and said, I don't want any problem in any of the parties. I want the parties to be stable, function very well. We have free, credible, transparent election, which everybody, if I lose, I'll go home. Look at what has happened to our democracy. It's not being destroyed. And it's being destroyed by those who yesterday were victims of the same similar thing. We're shouting to the wall, threatening to bring down everything if right things are not done. And now when you have opportunity, and that's what's surprising me in Nigeria, how people can be show commitment to a cause or promise something, and when they are given opportunity, they will fail dramatically. Nobody would have believed that today we will be where we are in this democratic process, considering the actors who are involved in governance today.
Well, one of those actors is, of course, yourself. And the point has been raised, because you mentioned the issue of primaries. So the point has been raised that you yourself seem to have either a knack or the inclination for avoiding primaries. I mean, is that a fact? Because you didn't do the primaries in the PDP. You didn't do any primaries when you crossed over to the Labour Party. You were essentially anointed as a candidate.
Charles, you don't have your facts correct.
And they're saying that
there was
reluctant to do it now.
No, the primaries in Labour. Clearly, it was heading us about. There were other aspirants.
Yeah, but they all stepped down for you.
No.
Most of them.
Most
the prominent ones.
Yes.
I mean, the ones who could put up a challenge.
And they gave a reason.
Right. Anyway, I'll come back to that issue, because the other things that... You want to finish what you're saying?
I didn't participate in the primary in the PDP.
Right.
Because I saw it was going in the wrong direction. Charles, when you are in a system where people don't play by the rules, and you believe in the rules, the only way to do decently is to leave.
Right.
And that remains my position yesterday, today, and tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to come back to the issue of movement from one party to the other. But let me get the ADC issue sort of all tied up in neat little compartments. The Electoral Commission, INEC's decision to withdraw recognition from the David Mark-led leadership of your party, the ADC. It sparked obviously a swirling mass of outrage within the opposition. Do you believe INEC has overstepped its constitutional role?
Totally. They were wrong. And it's even something one can imagine, because they were recognized yesterday. So what's so sudden now that brought about their reverse?
Well, they said they were obeying a court order.
I think they are wrong. That's where I was expressed.
Right. Well, that's one of the things that will be decided by a court. And is this, as many in the opposition allege, and as you yourself have suggested just a hot second ago, a politically orchestrated move by the ruling APC? Do you detect political interference?
I said that is what it is, completely, 100%.
You don't agree with those who say that it is purely, and it could potentially be an issue of institutional overreach on the part of INEC? Because, it doesn't, even if INEC does that, it doesn't necessarily involve the government itself.
No, somebody's pushing them to do that.
But do you have any clarity on that? Supported with evidence?
Well, I've said it what I said. Everybody knows. I just gave you an example. That when we had a problem in Africa, President Yar'Adua decided, I don't want this. Even when the case was in court. And that was the end of it. A government that wants progress will support strong opposition. Because it's critical.
So despite the warnings from INEC, the ADC is going ahead with its national convention, the April the 14th, Tuesday, which is tomorrow, amidst all the internal leadership disputes within the ADC?
Because we believe that what they did is wrong.
So will you attend that convention?
Definitely, I'll be there.
Right. Are you confident that a convention held under these conditions will produce legitimate outcomes, or are you building on uncertain legal ground?
Well, Charles, I'll be there tomorrow. And will ensure that that convention, which started with the Congress, comes to a conclusion.
Right. So are you, if INEC, for instance, ultimately refuses to recognize the outcome of that convention, will you accept that the process was flawed, or will you challenge the commission head on? Which way would you be prepared to go?
Let's see what happens when they take their decision.
Right.
Then we'll know where.
Because you're hoping that the Supreme Court will rule in your favor.
Well, let's see what happens.
Right.
These days, you can't say nobody plays by the rules now. So you can't be sure of what is going to happen.
I'm wondering what impact that might have on your own political sort of
Charles, it's not about me. It's not about the individual.
No, I understand that.
No, it's not about me. It's not about anybody.
Yeah, but
it's about the integrity of our democratic process.
Indeed.
It's about society. It's about building a better society for us and our children.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with me personally.
But we're all individuals within society. And the whole point of society and the democracy and so on is that it allows people to freely pursue their ambitions and their dreams and their careers. What would happen to your own if the ADC is...
Charles, I've never done things or pursued everything, believe in my own ambition or just for me to be true, but I do it believing that it will help to build a better society. And if whatever they do, whatever they're doing, is destroying the fabric, the foundation, which we need for a better society.
What I find interesting and almost astonishing is that in spite of all these problems that the ADC appears to be having, many people are still joining the party.
Yes, because
What's
they know,
attraction?
because they know that what you're saying or what INEC is doing is wrong. We have said we want all oppositions to come together to build one strong coalition that will be able, because election in 2027 will be the government in power versus the people. So we are now coming to stand for the people.
You're claiming that mantle of standing for the people.
Yes.
Because I mean, you know, it's difficult for the people. I mean, it's one thing to say you're standing for the people, but are the people standing for you? Because if you can't settle problems within your own party, it's going to be difficult to convince people to align themselves with you.
Charles, the problem within ADC or other political parties are problems instigated, supervised, and controlled from external forces, which is government, deliberately to destroy them, investing heavily in it. There's nothing like having, I've heard this several times, people say, oh, if you can't control your house, if you can't control this, if you can't control your party, you can. No. When those problems are externally instigated, supervised, and controlled, especially in a transitional country like Nigeria, where you know that everybody can be bought over or paid.
Except you?
Well, I would say except me. There are other people.
Because what I'm saying, that sounds like you're, as they say, up the creek without a paddle. Because, I mean, what you're essentially saying is that we're in an impossible situation. You're in an impossible situation. Because you're never going to get the... I mean, if the people that you've got together with are all people who potentially can be bought over,
not all,
have no principles and have no ideology that they're fastidious with. I mean, it just sounds like you're fighting a losing battle.
No, Charles, that's what we are. That is exactly what I'm fighting. And there's a number of people with me who are fighting the same cause. We must dismantle this criminality that exists today.
But how are you doing that? Because I mentioned earlier about this issue of primaries. Let me return to something related to that as well, because you yourself have moved across parties from the PDP to the Labour Party, and now you're aligning with the ADC. Why should Nigerians trust your long-term commitment when it appears you leave parties rather than stay to fix the problems within them?
Let me even tell you, you're even wrong. I moved from APGA.
Yes, you moved from APGA to
PDP.
The PDP, then Labour.
I moved from APGA to the PDP because I had what I can call disagreement or issues with my successor, the governor who came after me. And now I allow it to become toxic and become destructive to his governance of the state. I moved out. In PDP, I said it before, people were not playing by the rules. It was transactional. I cannot be part of transactional primary. I cannot be paying people to go and serve them.
And yet the same
so
people...
I moved...
The same people that you were
I moved to Labour. And of course, like I said, government came into the same system, which is very clear. You just said about INEC said they're being court order. We got in Labour Party, Supreme Court decided a case in April. INEC did not recognize that judgment until 7th of January, 8 months after, because of the same process. You even see people who will be on the rooftop shouting and say, if Peter B cannot fix the problem in labor, because they put fire in the house, and they were shocked that I was able to escape. So they thought I would be there for the fire to burn me. When I now escaped, they say, oh, if he cannot stay and put up the fire, which they put, and then I left. I'm in ADC with the same people.
Yeah, the same transactional people you talked about from the PDP.
Charles, I'm in ADC with the same people, some of whom are left in PDP and other parties. But we are going through the same process. If that process is again compromised, I'll speak out.
Right. Okay. But
what is important is not what people are yesterday.
Right.
It's what they are today. Because they've seen where the country is going, and they can decide, no, we are not making sacrifice.
Right.
We will no longer go back to what we used to.
Indeed. I understand the logic of the point you're making, but some would say that that exactly is the concern, that each move that you make is justified for some reason. You know, either a strategy or as, you know, getting away from transactional people or as something else. At what point does strategic movement begin to look like political inconsistency? And how do Nigerians know you won't move on again? You did say that you would in fact move again if this platform faces the same kind of challenge.
Charles, if I have to move, well, I don't have a long time in politics. But if I have a long time, I have to do it 20 times. I'll do it exactly. I will not be part of. I cannot be talking about change. I cannot be talking about something new while being process of the same thing. You cannot use the process of yesterday to build tomorrow. I've never been involved in any form of rigging of election at primary level, at the election itself, and after that. No, I've never been part of paying people in judiciary anywhere to give me judgment that I do not deserve. I've not been part of this. You can go ask the last INEC chairman. I never met him for one day because he's a referee. I'm a player, and I expect the referee to come to the field and do his job very well. If he chooses to do it wrongly, so be it. But I cannot be preaching change and doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think a lot of people who support you would be re-inspired by what you just said. But you are, of course, now operating within the ADC. Yes. Can you realistically secure the ticket in a field that includes seasoned political heavyweights like Atiku Abubakar? And what happens if you don't? Would you be willing to step aside for a stronger coalition candidate in the interest of defeating the incumbent, President Tinubu?
Well, let me tell you, Mr. Charles, we're a coalition. For me, what I believe that Nigeria requires now is a coalition of people who are willing to sacrifice everything. It's a coalition of competencies, coalition of capacities, coalition of people who are compassionate to tackle issues that Nigeria needs urgent attention today. That's what I see as that coalition. We are no longer going to be a coalition of people who are going to share democracy dividend or transnational coalition because there's nothing to share any longer. Whatever we are sharing now, the country is finished. We need to now be a coalition of people who are going to sacrifice everything to build tomorrow. And if that is the case, it will be easy. It is done in several countries of the world where coalition came together and brought somebody to be part, to lead it. Example is in Indonesia. When Joko Widodo was chosen to be a presidential candidate, he was not chosen by his party. He was chosen by a coalition of parties that came together and said, this is our candidate. And because of it, other smaller parties joined in that coalition because they believe he will do the work. Where we are now in Nigeria, it's time to hire qualified, competent person. Our recruitment process for 2027 must be different from what it used to be. Right. We must now get somebody who is committed to a future and a better Nigeria.
And do you see any person who is like that beyond yourself?
Well, like I said, we have a party now. I'm sure the party people will come together and decide. There might be somebody better.
Right.
There might not be. But whatever there is the choice, it must be based on empirical, verifiable evidence that this person is better than Charles. So why should Charles be doing this program when we have a better person?
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that works out. And it'll be interesting to see whether a lot of the other people think the way that you do. You had a recent meeting with Rabiu Kwankwaso, the former governor of Kano State. It sparked talk of a northern alliance with you. Is that the beginning of a political merger, or is it just optics?
It's still a part of the alliance, part of the coalition. Charles, one of the things that is affecting us today in this country is lack of unity. We need now to be united as a country. We have to now ensure that religion, tribe does not exist in building this future we want. We need united, secure Nigeria where we can start conversing and discussing issues that will help us to build a better future.
Indeed. But going along that line and being brutally practical, some have suggested that you simply can't win the North unless people like Nasir El-Rufai, in addition to the likes of Rabiu Kwankwaso, come on board and convince the Muslim North to not only look to the South for a president in 2027, but specifically to the Southeast and to you. They say that unless people like El-Rufai and Kwankwaso not only back you, but convince the North to do the same, you might as well forget it. What is your reaction to that?
Well, my reaction is that I work with them so they can do that. But I can tell you, Charles, you can take it in this studio, nobody will build or do what I intend to do in the North. I'll change the North. Our greatest asset is in the North.
Tell us more.
Our greatest asset as a country is in the North. The vast uncultivated land is our future. We can make more money as a country from agriculture than we make from oil. And that we have to start doing immediately. If we want to secure the North today, we need to start investing in those critical areas, agriculture, start pulling people out of poverty, investing in education, investing in health. And that we can do. I've seen it country after country that I've been able to study. Just, I have taken time, if I can say it, more than any other person contesting, to visit different countries to see firsthand what they're doing. And I could see it in the North. I could see that future. I could feel it.
Yeah. But obviously you can't do any of that without, first of all, securing the
That's
North.
it. That's what I'm saying. Of course, when you talk about securing the North, it's just like securing all over Nigeria. when it comes to issue of security, Charles, we've reached a stage where we have to be very, very decisive. No longer issue of negotiation or anything. Charles, I had what I can call disturbing insecurity when I became the governor of Anambra State. It got to a stage that I had to come here and tell President Obasanjo, Mr. President, this is what I want to do, and you must allow me to do it. You can go and ask retired General Enenche. He was commander of the army unit then in Anambra State. Late John Haruna and late Commissioner Bello, I can call names, go and ask them what happened. And you could see it, that the then IG, Abubakar, came and said, for 5 years, we've not had issue of major robbery or kidnapping in Anambra State.
So guys, I will take you to some of the reactions of Nigerians. Someone said, this is the most terrifying math in Nigeria's history. We moved from 13 trillion naira to 200 trillion naira, yet our roads, hospitals, and power grids are still in emergency world. Where did the money go? We are borrowing away our children's future to fund present consumption. Someone else said that Tinubu is the worst thing that happened to Nigeria. Someone else said, God forbid, Tinubu, that man is a demonic man. And someone else said that no single impact from the government. So guys, there have been a lot of reactions from Nigerians about how failed this government have been. Because when it comes to insecurity, there is nothing good about it. When it comes to poverty, there is nothing good about it. When it comes to employment, nothing good. There is nothing good that you can say that this government have done. There is nothing, there's no one thing that any Nigeria can hold and say, okay, we achieved in Tinubu's regime. Nothing. It's only hunger. People are crying day by day. People don't even know where their next meal come from. This is how terrible this current government have been. And it's not even a joke that Nigerians are now out for the next election. They are saying that no matter what the INEC is planning, that it will not work, because you could imagine that there have been protest upon protest about this issue of INEC trying to make sure that the ADC is not on the ballot box. This is a plan. They want PW not to be on the ballot box, but Nigerians are saying that it's not going to happen. They are standing their ground that Tinubu must allow ADC to be in that ticket come next election, because Tinubu wants only APC to be on that ballot box so that it will be an easy win for him, because they know that P2B is their greatest opposition till today. P2B have been on the streets protesting. We saw that last week. P2B was seen with other people like Tamboa and Kwankwaso. They were protesting in INEC that they must allow ADC to be on that ballot box. These are the plans of APC. They want to make sure that Tinubu removes ADC from the ballot box. So guys, I'd like guys to take a look at these videos for Nigerians and let me get your views in the comment section.